it's Bree Bear, and today I'm going to be talking all about advice for graduates. I'm just basically going to be giving you guys advice that I think you need to hear. So make sure you keep watching. And also, extremely important is that this is especially directed towards high school graduates, but I feel like it could be applicable to other graduates as well. So the first piece of advice that I have for you guys is to know that you don't have to have it all figured out or have all the answers. It is okay if you don't know. It's okay if you don't understand something. Like if you're graduating, then college, for example, then you might be getting a job pretty soon that is in your career and you may not know all the answers. Feel free to ask questions and talk to people and find out things. Don't feel like you have to know all the answers. I mean, I don't feel like anybody ever has it all figured out, so don't sweat it. My second piece of advice is that you are allowed to change your mind. Not just about your career and your path that you're going to take in life, but just in general with your beliefs and your thoughts on things, where you stand on certain issues. You're allowed to change those things. You're probably, if you're graduating from somewhere, going to be going through some changes in your life. And those changes will probably lead to a change in your mindset just as much as a change in your environment or your surroundings or whatever situation that you're in. Your mental process, your thoughts, and your perception is probably going to change just as much. My next piece of advice is that you can take an unconventional path too. It's not wrong. People may look at you weird, but that's their problem and not yours. Unconventional doesn't mean bad or wrong. It means different. If you need to take a break from school and make some money and plan ahead before you start school, that is okay. If you don't even want to go to school, that is okay. If you decide to go to a technical school, that is okay. If you decide to go right to work immediately, that is okay. You don't have to do the same thing as everyone else. As long as you are enjoying what you're spending your time doing, that's what's important. You can always go back to school later on too. It's not like a crime, it's not wrong, and that's actually very easy to do these days, to go back to school. They're making it easier and easier to have the option to return to school once you've made money, or if you've changed your mind, or if you just didn't get the opportunity when you were younger. I mean, you have options. Alright, my next piece of advice is to not let everyone else tell you that you can or can't do something. If you want to try to do it, and if you're committed to it, doing the work that it takes to achieving that level, you do it. You go get that advice book and you talk to people who've done it before you, and then you just do it. Do what makes you happy. And if along the way you realize that it doesn't make you happy and you want to change it, it's okay. Don't let anybody else say, oh, you shouldn't do that, you won't make any money, you won't be happy because you're not going to earn enough, or you won't be happy, or you won't have a set schedule, or you'll never know actually how much you're going to make. Like, don't let everybody else tell you how it's going to work. You get advice from the people who actually know because they do it on a regular basis and it works for them, and find out how and why it's working for them. My next piece of advice is to keep a balance of focus and fun. It's really, really easy when you get into school to either focus on one thing or the other, to be so focused on studying that you have to pass everything and you have to get through all of your classes as fast as possible so you can graduate early, so you can get to your next set of school things that you have to do, because you're going to be in school like your whole life if you don't get done. Or the opposite, and focus on all the fun things and be like, I just want to have fun. I'm finally out of the house. I'm finally somewhere else. I finally get to do my own thing. And then get to focus on fun. It's way too easy to do either one of those two things. So here's my advice. Find a balance between the two. Like, don't take so many classes that you can't do things that you love and enjoy. And also, don't take so few classes that it takes you the rest of your life to actually get to the part that you want to do. Especially if that fun causes you to fail. Don't do that. If you think about, if you've ever read The Miracle Morning, Hal Elrod has broken down the life into 10 different areas. It is more specifically written out in the, I don't know if it's in the book because I listened to the audiobook, but there's a pie chart that is given to you in the starter kit, and it has the 10 different areas that he's broken life down into, and 2 of them are career and friends and family. And those 2 areas are extremely important areas of your life. One will probably affect the other more likely than not. If you're having trouble in your relationships, then your career is probably going to suffer, and vice versa. If your career is suffering, then your relationships are probably going to suffer too. Keep that in mind, that those 2 areas really relate a lot, and that's also relevant when you're in school. That career area has to do with your school. And then being at college, you're going to probably be making new, different friends, but you have to find a balance between the 2 so that you don't lose either area. Keeping along the lines of friendships, my next tip is to remember that friendships don't maintain themselves. Especially when you're graduating high school, you're going to be leaving those friends behind. It's like if you're in, I was thinking about this earlier, it's like if you're in the river tubing. If you've ever gone tubing, then you'll understand this. But like, you're sitting there in your little, so you sit there in your little floaty thing, and if you just float along and you're with some friends, then odds are you're gonna drift apart. You're not gonna stay together. You might be going in the same direction and maybe even going to the same place, but you're probably gonna drift apart and be on opposite ends of the river. The only way that you're not gonna drift apart is if you hold on to each other and you both work to hold on to one another and keep the relationship together. Same thing in life. And even when you go through like areas of the rapids in the river, if you hold on to each other hard enough and you try hard enough, then yes, you'll maybe get some bumps and bruises, and maybe you'll even fall out of your little inner tubes, but you will make it through together and still be in a friendship and still have each other. However, if you don't put in the effort to hold on, then you're gonna drift apart for sure. My next tip is to take it slow. Once you graduate high school or college, your life is going to change. The situation around you is going to change. Your day-to-day tasks are going to change. What you're doing with your time is going to change. Maybe even where you live, where you spend your time with, will change. The most important thing when you're addressing the fact that your life is changing is to take it slow. To take your time and adjust to the environment, adjust to the new place, adjust to the new situation and new workload. Don't dive in your first semester and take 18 hours of classes. Dip your toe in the water, take 15 hours, something like that, and focus more on getting used to the place that you're at, getting used to the way that the professors are. Alright, and I am going to throw in one little bonus tip for you guys, and that is a book recommendation. I would highly recommend for every graduate to read the book Who Moved My Cheese by Spencer Johnson. This is a wonderful book. It is literally less than 100 pages. It is super short, super easy to read, that you can read in like less than an hour. Kind of goes over this whole change thing and how to deal with it. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks so much for watching, and peace out, Bear Scouts.
About your worries and your stress. I mean a bare necessity. That's why a bear can rest at ease with just the bare necessities of life. Yeah, bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. About your worries and your stress. I mean a bare necessity. That's why a bear can rest at ease